What's up, guys, and welcome to the DLE YouTube channel. It is 1:30 a.m. EST, and Konami has just dropped the latest ban list for the game, July 11th. These balance changes will go into effect July 21st, and you guys have been going crazy asking ban list when, ban list when. It's been the meme of the past week in our Twitch chat and everything. So I have assembled PDS and eHero in these late night hours so we can go over the ban list. What's up, guys?
Yo.
Hello.
Yo, and we are gonna hit up the skills first, because that's always what Konami hits us with first. So there's only a few skills being hit, so let's look at let's just go straight into the changes, right? So draw, sense, spell, and trap can be used each time your life points decrease by 1,000 in the draw phase. Instead of conducting your normal draw a random spell and trap card. The skill will only activate at the beginning of the duel with a deck that has 3 or more spell trap cards with different names. And yeah, this is like a welcome change just to make sure that you aren't doing any cheese decks where you only play one spell or something like that.
Take your grass is greener cheese and get it out.
Yeah, what was the deck that played this the most recently? It was the grass. It was Black Dragon, right?
Yes, the Black
Dragon. Okay.
So their main strategy was just play just one grass, and then they would draw it whenever you did any amount of damage. Because 1,000 is really easy, and they would play a bunch of hand traps to not die, and then they would draw their grass and just OTK you on the next turn.
Right.
And they would only play one spell and trap, so that would be the only card they would draw. So they basically just killed that strategy, and I think honestly the deck is dead at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't have a whole lot going for it. It was all monsters. It was kind of just revolving around that one strategy. If you can't reliably use grass with that deck, you're not going to be doing much. So Konami decided to wipe that off the map. So that's that change is going to do. Next, we have Cyber Style. Oh, a big one that people have been asking for a while. So, can be used if your life points are at 2,000 or below. Play up to 2 Proto Cyber Dragon in attack position from outside of your deck. If your life points are at 1,000 or below, you can play up to 3 Proto Cyber Dragon in attack position from outside of your deck. Proto Cyber Dragon, played with this skill, cannot be tributed, and while they are face-up on the field, you cannot special summon except for fusion summoning, nor attack except with fusion monsters. This skill can only be used once per duel. And I believe in their little tips here, they said, we are giving this skill a hard activation condition and restricting the user to fusion summoning. So you are not going to be able to do those Cyber Proto Dragon beatdown turns. But a question I have about this skill is the wording on it seems a little bit different. It says you can play up to 2 Proto Cyber Dragons. So I think what that means is the skill is going to ask you, do you want to summon a Proto Cyber? Would you like to summon another? Would you like to summon another? Is that how it's going to work?
Yeah, it's gonna be like a yes or no prompt kind of thing. That's what it sounds like. It says up to, which means you can play 1 or you can play 2.
And then, of course, at 1,000, you can play up to 3. So it's just changing how it works a little bit. But yeah, also, you are not going to be able to just Cosmic Cyclone and be able to activate the skill. It now has a minimum life point requirement of 2,000. That also means that you're not just going to be able to just, one Cosmic Cyclone to get that one quick Proto Cyber out that you need for a fusion material. It's going to make fusioning, if you don't have monsters, a lot harder. eHero, any thoughts on Cyber Style?
I think that it's a good change. Now they can't do one proto, they have to do at least, or they can do one proto, but they have to have at least 2,000 less life points than normal. And restricting them to only being able to attack with fusion monsters, I think, reduces the deck's ability to OTK a lot. They can poke, and then if they don't quite kill you, they have a proto or something still sitting on the field to get that last hit in, and now they can't.
Yeah, this is definitely something that people have been complaining about a lot. Well, Cyber Dragons, people have been complaining about, but Cyber Style receiving the nerf instead of some other cards. We'll see how it works out in tournaments. We cannot implement this change yet, so this will not be uh, used in daily tournaments until the ban list is implemented. So Cyber Dragons will be banned. So the next skill we have is Tuning. Can be used when your life points decrease by 1,000. Instead of conducting your normal draw, draw one Synchron Tuner monster of your choice from your deck. Then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. If you began the duel with 3 or more junk effect monsters in your deck, add Speed Warrior from outside of your deck to your graveyard. This skill can only be used per duel. So they're really making this an anime skill. So you can draw a Synchron. Then, if you have 3 or more junk monsters, you can add a Speed Warrior. So if you don't know, the anime combo is you summon junk Synchron and you summon Speed Warrior from your graveyard to make junk Warrior. So I guess it is just really making sure that you are able to play your anime deck to the highest ability.
Yeah.
That's all this really does.
It says 3 junk effect monsters.
Right.
So
Junk
they don't have to be. They don't have to be different names. You can just run 3 junk Synchrons.
This is true. Right. Right. So that's all it'll take to activate that. But level 5 synchros you're turboing out. I don't know. So that is all that is. Next, and this is the last skill we have, is Ultimate Dragons. At the beginning of the duel, add Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon to your extra deck. Can be used on turn 3 and onward by revealing 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand to your opponent. Add Polymerization to your hand from outside of your deck. This skill can only be used once per duel. So they definitely want to see Blue Eyes using this skill, summoning all the monsters at Worlds. So I believe we have all those cards except the Twin Burst Dragon. So just really quickly, I can look at this guy's effect. It needs 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons, and its effect is cannot be destroyed by battle. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. At the end of the damage step, when this card attacks an opponent's monster, but the opponent's monster was not destroyed by the battle, you can banish that opponent's monster. Alright, so that's probably the best Blue Eyes extra deck fusion monster that we have, that we will have access to, because won't be able to just have it. You have to use the skill, of course. But yeah, that seems fun. Whatever you're gonna do with that, Blue Eyes players.
I think the bottom two don't. The tuning and the Ultimate Dragons, I don't really think it's gonna lead to anything competitive.
Nah,
but,
yeah.
I mean the Twin Burst Dragon is definitely really strong. You know, especially because it can't be destroyed by battle. So when you go to attack, it's always gonna be banishing and it's never gonna die. So basically, you just control the board. But it is on turn 3 is when you get the polymerization. So otherwise, you would have to play. You'd have to just naturally draw like one you put in your deck, and then it's like, are you really gonna go, go for like a fusion variant of Blue Eyes when we have a variant that's already pretty good?
Yeah, so I think that is the extent of that. Anime changes for Worlds. Want to see Blue Eyes that over there. So that's the skills. Just 4 skills being changed. We're going to see how impactful they are. People are really going to be looking at Cyber Style. The other ones, not so much. But yeah, that's what people are going to be keeping their eye out for that. But now, on to the meat. We have the Forbidden Limited List updates. And oh my god, this is a fat one, guys. So let's start from the top. Limited 1. We have Type 0 Magic Crusher. This is a continuous trap. We are limiting this card as using this card along with the effect to add spell cards in the graveyard to the hand allowed players to win a duel by dealing effect damage too easily. And if you guys don't know, this is most likely getting banned because of the Decade YouTube video where he uses this in Witchcrafters, And yeah, Witchcrafters make this card pretty good. And yeah, OTK essentially. Just sending your spells to the grave and getting them back to your hand at the end of every turn. Yeah, so that's why that is getting limited. And then Give and Take as well in the limited one section here. Another what seems to be, or what could qualify as, degenerate strategy that we've seen in tournaments. We are limiting this card as it allows players to prevent their opponents from special summoning monsters by special summoning Raw's Disciple to the opponent's field. Yeah, really cheesy. So what do we think about these changes? Honestly, these are just, I'm thinking these are just those cheese changes. Konami are getting out of the way from the meta. They've seen their rise. They're like, all right, can't have that.
I think the Type 0 Magic Crusher, it's whatever. It's just like some ladder cheese. But the Give and Take, we have seen a significant rise in the Invoked Neos deck. And I think they just, maybe Konami doesn't want people, they want people to invest in other decks instead of this deck, because they also hit a couple of other Neos cards. So maybe they want to prevent people from buying, the Neo structure deck to try and go for other cards. But I think the Give and Take is really, really strong, especially because my team lost top 8 of Clan Wars to this card, because it is, some decks have no outs. Like, they just give you the Raw's Disciple, they stall until they get Purgatrio, and then there's not much you can do after that. And
Right.
or the other thing they can do is, they wait until they get a second copy of Give and Take to go in, and then they Give and Take you again.
Give you
It's
two.
crazy. It's really degenerate.
Yeah, honestly, if it's played the right way, this card can definitely lock you down. It's ultra oppressive card, and it being limited to one now will make sure that in competitive play it's not overwhelming. But yeah, there is that. So XGP, anything on the limited one stuff?
I like Type 0 Magic Crusher. I've thought
Of
of it
course you
about
do.
with Witchcrafters and also with Gem Knights, thanks to Gem Knight Fusion coming back over and over again. It's still playable at 1, because there are very few decks that need their limited 1 slot.
Yeah, and I also believe that this card was only played at 1 in Witchcrafters. But it was probably also played with Dross Spell Trap, right? I believe. Yeah, that'll... we'll see. So now, on to the limited 2 list, and guys, this is where it gets hot. So, right off the bat, the first card, bam, Magician's Rod to 2. We are limiting this card as it allows players to consistently play a combination of cards that give their opponent little chance to fight back. Amen, Konami. I couldn't have said it better myself. But let's really think about the implications of Magician's Rod to 2, right? People were upset before because they didn't think that the Illusion Magician nerf to 2 was enough. People wanted Rod to 2, but is that even going to be enough now? I think that the way to play Dark Magician has evolved so much that Rod to 2 is not enough to cause a large decrease in the play rate of the deck or its performance. A lot of people have switched over to running more cards, more Dark Magician centric cards other than the core ones like Curtain and Expanded. And those definitely make it easier for you to bring out your Dark Magician monsters when you have Circle and stuff on the field. So what do you guys think about Rod?
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, Hero.
I think it's going to make running Dark Magicians for newer players or different players less appealing, because it seems like, oh, this is their Searcher, you play 3 of this, it's their Stratos, and not having 3 of it is going to make the deck much less appealing to play, because your Searcher, you don't have 3 of your Searcher. Even if there is an alternate way to play it, you still play 3 Rod. So it going to 2 definitely hurts the deck. I'm just not sure how much.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna see. We were already seeing a shift to like playing Karma Cuts in Dark Magician to stop Shiranui, but now with Rod to 2, so obviously you get rid of 1 Rod from the deck. So what do you put in instead? Maybe you put in a Dark Magic Curtain. Maybe you put in another Karma Cut. But this is leading to what Ihiro was saying, was that newer players don't have access to Karma Cut.
Right.
They don't have access to cards like Reigeki Break. So the deck is going to be a lot more expensive now. So, but I think it's definitely still going to be really playable.
Yeah, you look at just the changes here, and nothing else was touched except this. Dark Magician should still function almost very close to where they were at before this ban list. So just gonna have to keep a lookout to see what cards people are playing in place of Rod and how it affects the deck's consistency, because that's really what it comes down to, just ruining Dark Magician's consistency.
Oh, and a quick note:
Yeah.
Illusion Magician was taken off the list, so that's you don't have to. Hidden Dark Magician don't have to share a slot. It was.
Yeah. Right. So next we have Shiranui Squire. We are limiting this card to prevent players from synchro summoning using a single card. And yeah, it looks like they have moved Squire from the limited 3 list to the limited 2 list. Reasoning behind it, they don't want people one card synchroing every turn. But with 2 Squire, and we'll see later in the ban list the other changes they made, I don't think this is a massive change for Shiranui. I think they probably needed multiple cards with the same limitation for them to have like a massive effect on the deck. What do you guys think?
I agree with PDS. I think it's a buff. I think it's actually a buff.
Well, it's not like a super buff, but they literally just, all right, this is what you do: take out a Squire, put in a Gozuki, and then now you can also either pick between like Gold Sarcophagus or Cosmic Cyclone. So it's, and you can still play the tuner. So it's not really, they're not making you pick one Squire, one tuner. It's you can either play Gozuki or you can replace it with like Solitaire, but it's still a really good deck, like no doubt about it.
Yeah, again, like usually when a ban list comes out and people are looking for something to kill a deck, it has to be that a vital part of the deck is removed from the equation, or something is just, the chances of you having something are decreased so little that you probably can't count on seeing it reliably. Dark Magician and Shiranui, I can't say that either of those cards have been touched in that way. They're both definitely going to be just seeing consistency decreases at the least, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially, I know for me personally, I never even draw Squire anyways, so it's okay. We were always winning without Squire.
Right.
But, yeah. Okay. But the next card is Cybernetic Overflow.
Yeah, so this is really big. They say, we are limiting this card as it allows players to consistently end duels by destroying several of their opponent's cards, then fusion summoning. And yes, that is true. Untargeting destruction is extremely strong in Duel Links right now, and now Cyber Dragons no longer have it at 3. Cybernetic Overflow is a key part of the deck, and Cyber Dragons need to see it to win, right? Now they are taking one Overflow out of your deck. Cyber Dragon's entire deck is built around having that core consistency, the Cyber Dragon core, into one of these and snowballing off of that. I mean, again, this is a consistency hit, but as long as you can draw a core, you're still going to see this card. What do you guys think?
I think that it's actually a huge hit to Cyber Dragon, because not only did they lose Overflow, but they also lost their other semi-limits.
Yes.
So no more Econ Cheese, no more Concentrating Current. You can't play it. So
yeah, no more
you
Econ
lost,
Current.
Yeah,
trash.
You lost about. You're gonna have to replace like 3 cards in your deck. So it's pretty. That's a lot, 3 cards. 3 cards is, you play 3 core. So just like, you gotta think about it. 3 cards is a lot, especially in a 20 card deck. So you got to remove 3 cards, and they also, Econ is a way to win games that are unwinnable otherwise. And also Concentrating Current. People, they would summon the Rampage Dragon, Concentrating Current, and this OTK like that, but you can't do it anymore. So
yeah, a lot of strategies are gone with Cyber Dragon. That as well as the Kiteroid strategy with Megawood City. That's done too.
And then also they had that hit to the cyber style.
It's cyber style
So
as well. So now not only can you not cyber style off one Cosmic Cyclone, you got to be 2,000 down, and then your Cybernetic Overflow is at 2.
and
So
it I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was done.
I was gonna say that it scares me also because Cyber Dragons was well known for having a really good Dark Magician matchup. So as Cyber Dragons got weaker, Dark Magicians didn't get equally weaker. I think Dark Magicians are actually still pretty good. So but Cyber Dragons definitely got a lot weaker. So we are gonna see maybe the nerf, quote unquote nerf, is actually not that bad, because considering that one of their best or hardest matchups also got nerfed. So
yeah, I
pretty
don't think
interesting.
I don't think it removes like Cyber Dragon players have to go back to the drawing board, but I don't think it removes Cyber Dragon from playability. I think they're still definitely playable, but you have to go back to the drawing board, probably.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Like, I was thinking maybe you play more fusion support, but that's not a card that really does anything playing multiple copies. But
Right.
that's for another time. We gotta think about it.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, I was gonna say something I totally forgot. Anyway, next card. So we have something that a lot of people probably didn't expect to see on the list here. Dragunity Divine Lance. This card will be limited to prevent Dragunity decks from having access to generic limited 2 cards. Konami, what the heck? Dragunity? You're hitting Dragunity? Why are you doing that? And honestly, this is another example. I have to say, it's probably a ladder change. Dragunities is probably seen a lot more on the ladder than we see it in competitive play. It was probably played a lot in the KC Cup as well, right? In the preliminary tournament.
It's another OTK deck to throw on the stack.
Right.
So yep.
A lot of people were playing it in that event as well. And what this does for Dragunities need a lot to help them. And one of those things that they need to help them is Hey Trunade. And Dragunities now they have to choose between Hey Trunade and this card. And this card gives them the OTK. Hey Trunade gives them the OTK after some synchros. So what are they going to do for their semi-limited option?
Yeah, this is much like what was said before. This takes 3 cards out of your deck. This takes 1 Lance and 2 Giant Trunades out of your deck. Or it takes all 3 of your Lances out of your deck. You now have 3 spots that you need to take up. And you're already running Cyclones. So do you run 3 Cyclones and 3 Night Beams?
And that's the thing, right? Dragunities, they have very specific cards that help them. There aren't very many other techs that they can replace the things that they currently run with to make the deck viable, right? They need very specific cards, and Hey Trunade does exactly what the deck needs it to do at the exact time. Everything else is like not as effective, or it's a little bit too slow, or something like that.
This might even send them back to the Harpy Dancer variant with Harpy Hunting Ground instead of Switcheroo.
I could see that, but yeah, no, they definitely, the difference between Divine Lance and when you have to pick between Divine Lance and Trunade, you have to go with Divine Lance, because Divine Lance is a card that gets your deck started. Like if you have Divine Lance and a monster, like let's say I don't know, just hypothetically, Ducks and Divine Lance, you have a play, but if you open, Ducks and Trunade, you don't have that play. So this is what they call a starter card. So, and this is also another card that, after you go for Ascalon, you put Lance on your monster to go for game. If you don't have the Lance, you don't, you need to have 2 copies. You need to have the most you can play of this card. So like Trunade is definitely replaceable, but there's nothing as good as it. So you're gonna have to play, like Ihiro said, maybe like Night Beam, or maybe you go for Sphere Karibos. I don't know what the direction would be, but it's definitely gonna be a lot less. You're gonna get OTK'd by it a lot less if you can protect your back row now.
Right. All right. Well, definitely not something I expected to see, but we'll see how Night Fox and the other Dragunity players work around this. So next we have Luna Light Crimson Fox. We are limiting this card as it as it made it highly risky for players to summon a monster in attack position. And yes, that's true. Lunalight Crimson Fox, when sent to the graveyard, makes a monster's attack 0 on the field, and it can be used very well outside of Lunalight decks. Most recently, it has been played in several Neos variants, whatever Neos deck you prefer, favorite hero, the new invoked one, or something else. It is being played there, being sent to the grave with Neos Fusion very easily. Yeah, you make a monster 0 and you boost it up. You boost your Neos up with whatever, and you're able to OTK. So for Lunalight specifically, I don't know. They're losing access. You kind of have to play this card, so you're losing access to stuff again like Kiteroid, Econ, Tread, stuff like that. If you're playing in that, but for the competitive decks that were playing this, the invoked Neos, I mean, obviously they just can't use this as a fire as if they were using before. But yeah, what do you guys think about this?
I also think it was nerfed for, and it is not a tournament thing. This is a ladder thing. I have seen several Cyberdark decks that use Cyberdark Cannon to send this to the graveyard on their turn or the opponent's turn when they attack into a Cyberdark, to send Crimson Fox to the graveyard to nullify, to basically make you take 20 damage.
Yeah.
So that's probably another reason. And limiting it to 2, it means you can no longer play it with Neos Fusion, so that cuts that out. And also, Lunar Lights can't splash Neos Fusion.
This is true, yeah. So Neos Fusion, it seems like they've taken away a couple of Neos Fusion options or Neos options in this ban list, since Neos did make a resurgence after they released another structure deck for it, and it resurged in tournament play. But yeah, honestly, I'm glad to see this go. I hate this card. I don't like it. Very annoying. But
yeah, it's really yeah, you know, there's a lot of people that just lose to it. Just like have monster attack, oh, you lose.
Right. So the last semi-limited change that we have is Crystron Impact. This card will be limited along with other cards used in Crystron decks to reduce the archetype's extremely strong level of endurance. And oh my gosh, I don't know if other people don't know how big of a change this is for Crystrons, but it is huge. Last ban list, if you guys remember, Crystrons were hit as well. Crystron Rion was also put on the semi-limited list, and if we look here, they weren't removed, so they're still on the semi-limited list, and now Crystron Impact is on the list as well. Crystron Impact provides an irreplaceable effect for Crystrons. If they're targeted, you can negate the activation, and it lets you special summon a banished Crystron and make your opponent's defenses 0. So this is outs a lot of things for Crystrons. This is a Pakitis out. It's basically any out for a target, right? Geki Break, Karma Cut, Econ, those powerful things. Crystron Impact says no to it, but not anymore. If you think about Rion and Impact, you're going to have to run your level 3 tuner. You need it for your synchro plays. So what are we thinking about Crystrons after this change?
2 things. Number 1, I'm sorry for every Crystron player who just spit coffee all over their monitor.
Yeah.
2, Circus finally did it. We said it was tier 1 forever, and they nerfed it. Good job, guys.
Yeah, dude. Can I listen to Circus? Please.
Yeah, so people will be like, oh, maybe I can play 1 Rion, 1 Impact. But the problem is that you need 2 Rion to do a lot of the Quarion plays, because a lot of them are level 3s, so you need 2 level 3 tuners on the field to go for Quarion Gondrax. So you basically need to play 2 Rion, unless you do some weird thing with Entry, the other trap card. But and the other thing is that Crystron Impact was huge to play around system down. You know, you could let yourself get system down, and you just impact your Rion back onto the field, and then you can still do stuff. But now that could potentially be out the window. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be some crazy thing with Entry and 1 Rion, 1 Impact. But
that is
even
true,
then,
though.
you know, you lost. This is another time where the deck loses 3 cards out of the deck. So they're going to lose 2 Impacts and one Rion, or they just straight up lose all 3 impacts. So it's gonna be a game changer for sure.
Right, and what you mentioned is actually huge. Crystron's re-entering the meta obviously means they're going to have decks siding against them, siding the system down, but Crystron's had a way to play around system down. Obviously, when all your machines are banished, you can special summon them back with impact. No more if you decide to cut it in favor of Rion. A system down will essentially be game ending for Crystron's. So something to keep in mind. Yeah, we're definitely got to see how our top players play around that. And then the only limited 3 change we have is Shiranui Spectral Sword being limited 3. The limitation on this card will be removed as Shiranui Squire has been limited in its place. So, like we said before, Squire being moved to 2 and Spectral Sword being moved to 3, just to ensure that the deck still cannot use Cosmic Cyclone. But now, like PDS mentioned to me before the video, the deck can run Cosmic Cyclone, but at a ratio with Spectral Sword. So it can run it like 2 CC, 1 Spectral Sword, or 2 Spectral Sword, 1 Cosmic Cyclone. So how do we think that's going to change things for Shiranui?
Yeah, I agree with PDS. You don't need 3 Spirit Swords or Spectral Swords. You can run 3, but you don't need it. So you can run 1 Gold Sark, you can run 1 Cosmic Cyclone. It's and like I said, I honestly think it's a mini sort of kind of buff for the deck, because now you're locked to 2 Squires, which you're always going to play, but now you can run 2 Spirit Swords and a 1 of the 3 of, or you can run 3 Spirit Swords if you're running like a Needlebug Nest version or something.
I think it's actually kind of nice that it's at 3 now, because I think there's a lot of games where they get you out of your 2 Spectral Swords, and you know what happens when both of them are banished. You have to rely on Gozuki dying, and then you have to banish Solitaire from your graveyard, and then you also have to have a zombie in your hand, special summon, and then you can bring a tuner back. But now you could play 1 copy of Gold Sark, banish the Solitaire, come back, my Spectral Sword. You have ways of getting them back now. So
Gold
it's
Sark
really, really nice.
Gold Sark is live again. That's right. That is right.
And then it's only at the cost of 1 Squire, which you can replace with. There's the 3 main cards I'm thinking of is probably Gozuki, Gozuki, Solitaire, and then also for the free to play guys you have a Samurai Skull. So you got 3 cards to replace that with.
Yeah, I definitely don't see Shiranui taking too big of a hit here. Honestly, this is another consistency hit that I don't think will be much of a hit. We'll definitely have to watch the tournaments, see how people change up their decks, but I don't see Shiranui losing too much support after this change. And now we have the things that are not on the list. We have both Magician of Dark Illusion and Amazoness Princess, my waifu. What's up, baby? But yeah, Magician of Dark Illusion being removed from the list. Yeah, what do we think about that rod being limited in its place? I think they kind of realized, like, all right, our Dark Magician change from last time wasn't good enough. Let's try this one instead.
Yeah, Unlimiting Illusion Magician basically does nothing. I mean, people might run 2 of it just to replace Rod to have something to summon, but it doesn't really do anything. Princess being unbanned is going to make a lot of people happy and a lot of people really sad at the same time, because they're going to try to bring it to tournaments, and it's probably not going to do well.
I'm happy Princess is off the list, man, but they just gotta hurry up and bring Onslaught off the list too. I don't know why they slacking on that. To hurry up. But yeah, that's the new ban list, man. Right after the KCGT, there's still a month before the main tournament, and this is what we get. So overall thoughts, PDS, what do you think?
I think you're trying to end this video, but you forgot to talk about the fact that we have no Black Wings hits. We have no Element Saber hits. What's
this
up with
is
that,
true.
Konami?
Yeah. I'm trying to end the video. I'm not even thinking about that. We're 1 month before Worlds, man. No E-Saber hit, no Blackwing hit. These decks are going to be running rampant. And in the main tournament, they haven't hit them whatsoever. Blackwings are running rampant in tournaments right now. They have such good matchups against the new decks. And a lot of these decks right here that are getting weaker, having consistency issues, Blackwings will have no problem stomping them in tournaments.
They are. This is the mini ban list to hold us over through Worlds, and then after Worlds, they're going to absolutely annihilate E-Sabers and Blackwings. That's my call. They're going to kill those decks.
I've been hoping for that for a very long time, but every time the ban list comes, I don't see Alistair or
I
Malego,
know,
and I'm
man.
like, what the heck?
Alistair is
But-
Konami's golden boy. They don't want to ban him, dude. They don't want to.
And also, I forgot about Ritual Beast. Ritual Beast also come out untouched. So
Yes, a lot of
there you
people
go.
were worried about Ritual Beast. They're also unscathed here. Yeah, decks that didn't get touched: Blackwings, E-Sabers, and Heroes. That's all I
Oh,
can.
yes, Heroes as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, yeah, E-Hero, what do you think about this ban list?
I think it does a lot of good things and it does a lot of completely pointless things, but it's a band-aid patch. It is a band-aid ban list so that we can get through Worlds, and then after Worlds they're going, because everyone was complaining we had a Casey event and didn't get a ban list. Where's the ban list? Here's the ban list. It's a band-aid, and then a month when Worlds hits or after Worlds, that's when they're going to drop the big ban list that changes probably like 10 skills, buffing some, nerfing others, and the entire limited to 2 and 3 just gets completely annihilated.
Right, I'd say that we have one more ban list before Zexal, and it may not even come out before Zexal. It may come out like a couple weeks after. That's what they did with 5Ds, and I think that's right. So this is the last one before Worlds, and after Worlds is going to be a while, and then we're going to get one. But my thoughts on this is, yeah, there's a lot of consistency hits, and they're just trying to, I want to say touch the top decks now, but we kind of go through this all the time, right? The meta decks get a small hit, and then we look to the new cards to come in and get to power creep the old stuff, and then it doesn't happen. We've been playing with the same meta for quite a while, and I don't think that anything has been totally knocked out here, except for maybe Cyber Dragons taking a huge hit.
And Crystron.
And Crystron's taking a huge hit as well. Other than that, the decks that people have problems with, Dark Magician, Shiranui, still going to be in tournaments in the capacity that they are being seen in now. I guarantee that. But yeah, not too much is changing. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I feel like they just went to Duel Studio, and then they went to card catalog, and then they like, let's see popular cards. Like, all right,
cards.
we're gonna get all these cards right here, and then they didn't really look at they didn't really care for Blackwings or I mean Element Sabers. To me is I was actually shocked. I was like, wow, they didn't hit Alistair, Malehu, but yeah. I want to believe that this is better than what we currently have, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, but Blackwings are going to be really good now, and we don't have Crystron's anymore, so Blackwings are going to be even better. So it's like, yikes! I don't know how to feel right now. I haven't been able to form a good opinion about all this yet.
Yeah, I mean, we literally just started filming right after we saw it, but we're really gonna have to find out from the community what they think about it and how they react to it in tournaments. First tournament after this video is gonna be Sunday, so the next day right after this video. So guys, if you're watching this video, please think about your new ban list strategies, your new ban list decks, and get in the battle phase tournaments. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are all tournament days. Get in there. They're all going to be playing with the new ban list, everything that can be implemented anyway. I believe all of these card changes can be with unlimited duel rooms, which you use.
I don't even think you need unlimited though, honestly.
I think
well, for sure, you will for Spirit Sword.
Right. If you want to run 3, yeah. If you want to run 3, but if you run 2, you can play 2. Anyways, we don't have to talk about this.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming out to our ban list video. Let us know in the comments what you think about the ban list and how it's going to affect the meta in the upcoming days. Don't forget, guys, Gamersupps, hit them up for sponsoring us in the chat. Code DAILY, you get 10% off. It's a great drink. We use it all the time for all our tournaments. And get up in the Discord if you want to get notified for when we go live on Twitch, when all the tournaments are. We will see you guys later. Peace out.
Laters.
See ya.